All right, it's been quite a few years since I made my last Strandberg Model Rundown, and man, things have changed a bit. So, since this is kind of low-hanging fruit and an easy video for me to pump out and keep some content hitting the channel, grab a coffee or your booze, sit down, get comfy, and let's get into the weeds about everything in the Strandberg lineup. First, no, Strandberg didn't pay for this video. I'm not like a company shill or something like that. My channel here is mostly guitar reviews, and Strandberg videos have sort of done the best here on my channel, and it's kind of become the Strandberg headless channel in a way for a bunch of people. So let's get into it, and no, they did not pay for it. All of this is going to be from the Strandberg US website, so if you're in Europe, your mileage may vary, or in another part of the world, but there's basically two body styles. You got what they call the Boden, which is basically just a super strat, it's a double cutaway, and you got the Sälen, which is basically just a Telecaster and a single cutaway. Those are your two flavors basically that all the Strandberg guitars are going to come in. Boden, which is a strat, and Sälen, which is a telly. There's also two levels of build quality. Everything that comes out of the Indonesian factory, and then the outrageously priced J Artisan level Strandberg. These start at $8 grand, which is absolutely obscene for a freaking guitar, but it is what it is. I'm sure they play very nice. I think the cosmetics are beautiful, and the J Artisan is obviously a superior instrument to the ones that come out of the Indonesian factory, but what you're gonna see most people playing, and what is probably vaguely in your budget to afford, is gonna be the stuff that comes out of the Indonesian factory and not J Artisan. We're going to start with the Boden, and it's important to point out that all of the lines of the different guitars come with the exact same quality hardware, whether it's fixed bridge, tremolo, except for the Essential. So the Essential is the essential, or the bare minimum, to get the Strandberg experience. It's the budget level guitar. That comes with its own hardware. But everything else comes with high-end hardware still. Dear God, I hope they don't change that and go down the path of like Ibanez, because Ibanez premium tremolos are garbage compared to an actual Edge Low Pro. So I hope they don't change that. For now, only the Essential gets demoted hardware, essentially. Now, there's a few things that all Strandberg guitars are going to share. They're going to share a headless design. They are all going to, including the Essential, have stainless steel frets, although the Essentials are not as high of a quality. They're going to feature Strandberg's own proprietary hardware, which is not made by like Goto or something like that. And last but not least, they're all going to feature something called the Endurance. Now, the neck on a Strandberg is unlike anything else that's on the market. I've done a video of that years past. I'll put the link here if you want to check it out. The neck is unique, it's totally cool, and it's on all the guitars. And one other little teeny difference is all Strandberg guitars feature a upgraded Jescar stainless steel 0 fret, with the exception of the Essential. Again, Essential is the budget model, so that comes with a regular old nut. All the other guitars have a 0 fret, and it's an upgraded extra hard stainless steel Jescar fretwire. Now, these names can be a bit confusing, so I'm going to start with the ones that make the most sense first, and then we're going to kind of go from there. The Prog, the Metal, and the Fusion obviously all target players that match that genre. These guitars all come with chambered bodies and multi-scale necks. The Metal line is all fixed bridges, and it comes in a 6, 7, or 8 string config with different pickups depending on the model. Your 6 string is going to get you Sir Aldrich pickups, and then Fishman Fluence Moderns in the 7 and 8 strings. The Progs all have rich light fingerboards, chambered bodies, and all have tremolos, and you're going to get different pickups depending on the string configuration here as well. The 6 strings come with Sir's SSV and SSH Plus pickups that are like sublime, amazing, and Then they put goddamn Fishman Fluence Moderns in the 7-string configs here, and I don't understand why they put the same pickup in the metal and the Prog. They shouldn't. The Fusion seems like they might be discontinuing the line, actually. There is nothing currently listed on the website when you click it, but it is still listed as a type. The Fusion basically featured 3 pickups, 2 humbuckers with a single in the middle, paired with a 5-way blade to give you a little bit more tonal variety. These also featured a chamber altered body, and there was a time where you could get it in neck through. I did a review, I'll do a link. Damn, that guitar was cool. I wish they still made that. On to the confusing names. We've got the Essential, Original, Standard, Classic, and Resq'd. The Essential is, as the name suggests, the bare minimum to get the Strandberg experience, like I said earlier. The big news here is these guitars are new and they do not have multi-scale necks. They have a traditional, regular old scale length neck, but still have the other stuff that we all love about Strandbergs, the headless design, the Boden body, and stainless steel frets. They are DHP stainless steel frets, and the hardware is cast zinc, which is a bummer, but you are still getting stainless steel frets, and that, I think, deserves applause. Around $1,000 price point, that's pretty solid. It's hard to complain, and of course, you get Strandberg's own branded pickups. This comes in a 6-string config with a fixed bridge only, and the bodywood is a solid Maranthe body, which I have never even heard of. I don't even know if it sounds good. The original series comes with all maple fingerboards and a variety of finishes in a 6, 7, and 8-string configuration, mostly fixed bridge. Now, in years past, you could get them with tremolos, especially on the 7-string. Not the case anymore. There is one floating original in neck through listed on the website, but of course it's not available to purchase, so I don't even know what's going on with that. For the most part, an original really is like a cosmetic thing now. You're getting a 6, 7, or 8-string config, fixed bridge with like the flame maple top. Again, blanket Fishman Fluence Moderns in the 7 and 8-string, which I hate. I think it's stupid. Why are you putting the exact same pickup in the metal, the Prog, and the original? Why don't you put at least a different range of Fishman if you want to do Fishman everything? But there it is. Again, I think it's stupid, and the more you know. The Standard is actually my personal favorite. Really, the takeaway here is this is a slightly more budget line. The big news is no chambered bodies, right? So the Prog, the Metal, the Fusion, the Original, all of these guitars feature chambered bodies, not the Standard. They're solid pieces of wood. It is basswood, which I find unfortunate because I don't really like basswood, but it is a solid chunk of wood, and I had received some comments before I reviewed, and I'll do the little link to my review of my Standard pre-NX, people talking about how they liked the attack response was tighter on the solid body versus the chambered, and I do agree, actually. I think the Standard is a really cool line, and this is one where you can get the 7-string in a tremolo with passive pickups. Unfortunately, they are just Strandberg's own, and if you do an 8-string, of course, it's an active pickup, it's Strandberg's own. So the fact they're not putting name brand pickups in here is how they're helping drive down the prices a little bit. All of the fingerboards here are going to be maple with the exception of the lefty, which is rosewood. I couldn't tell you, go figure. The Classic is basically just a Strat. It's got your typical 3 pickups. It's basically a fat Strat, single humbucker with a 5-way switch. Currently, this comes in 2 flavors. You got what they call the Deluxe, which is a ripoff and way overpriced at $2,400, and then you've got what they call the Rosewood, which is also a ripoff and costs $1,800. Now, why is it a ripoff? So, quick history lesson, back pre-NX, the Classic used to cost $1,500, then they launched the NX Classic and they jacked it to $2,200, which was the exact same guitar except it had a pickup swap. Then, now they've launched the Deluxe, which changes the bodywood and the finish, I would argue just to visually make them look different, and then they jacked the price up to $2,400. If you could sell basically the original guitar to begin with at $1,500, I do not see any reason why you should have to be able to raise the price by $900. It is clearly anti-consumer in my opinion, and clearly a ripoff. They did not raise the price of any other guitar in their lineup even close to the same amount. Basically, the rest of them went up usually around 100, maybe 150 bucks, except for the Classic, which on the base stripped down rosewood is now 300 bucks more than it originally was. And then for the upgraded one with better pickups, it's $900 more. I just think this is just completely obscene. Do not buy a Classic new. They do not hold their value on the used market because the model used to be so much cheaper. Just buy a used one and save yourself like $1,000 bucks. The Resq'd series of guitars are guitars that come out every once in a while. They're not always. So this is what Strandberg claims: these guitars have some sort of natural wood blemish. So as a sustainability model, these guitars come out in a solid finish, and the prices are drastically lower than they would be if you were buying them at their normal full spec. And they come in original, Prog, standard, and metal specs potentially. Do I believe Strandberg that it is just that these natural wood blemish? No, probably not. I would love if somebody bought them and stripped it down to really see what's under the finish. I have a suspicion it's some Frankenstein together piece of bodywood. It's also important to point out they come in all sorts of fun colors, and I'm a sucker for kind of a ridiculous color. So, you know, I think they're cool. I don't buy their marketing BS for 1 second, but I do like that the line exists and that you've got another cheaper option, but that is not going with something like the Essential line, especially because you can get them in 6, 7, or 8-string configs with fixed bridge or tremolo. Alright, so now that we're halfway through this video, it's a good place for me to plug who I am and what I do. My name is Rob. This is my channel, AMinorError. I'm a Berklee College of Music graduate, and I've been giving private guitar lessons and gigging in the Philly area for the last 15 years. Yes, I do give private lessons. Depending on when you're seeing this, I may or may not have a couple slots open. So if you like my vibe, like the shredding and all the clips in the buffers kind of bopping around, you know, my contact info is down below. We can talk pricing and availability and all that kind of good stuff. So that's me and who I am. Continuing on. And last but not least, the Sälen body style, right? So this is basically just a telly, and it's gone through a lot of changes since I made my last video, which I think are pretty cool. You've got your Classic, which just is a Telecaster as it should be, with 2 single coil pickups in it. You've got the Classic with a tremolo, which I think looks really, really cool. 2 humbuckers and your trem. Then you got the Jazz, which has to be the worst selling guitar in all of the Strandberg line, which you get a chambered body and some nice Sir pickups. And then the Stealth, which is a Connor Kaminsky essentially signature series Sälen. It's kind of an upscale model in my opinion of the classic tremolo model, but you do get better pickups here and a chambered body, so they aren't exactly the same. And lastly, we've got kind of some miscellaneous signature series stuff. Obviously, there's the Plini. That's the guy Strandberg guitars are most widely known for. He's one hell of a player, and I would argue the best composer alive right now. And his signature series guitars, you've got the regular old one that we all have seen for years. You've got a neck-through model, and you've got his version of the Sälen, which comes with a single coil in the neck and then a humbucker in the bridge, which is kind of a cool configuration. There's a new model called the APS Chrome, which is an Alan Schaller signature series. Pretty cool looking guitar. I like the cosmetics of this Sälen, and you get some P90s in it, which is a really cool thing to toss out there. Again, since they're putting Fishmans and everything, it's nice to just finally see something different for once. And last but not least, the super weird, obviously, if you've ever listened to his music, of course it's going to be eccentric, the Jacob Collier signature that's not quite out yet, which comes in, of course, a 5-string or 6-string configuration. A 5-string guitar, what? And apparently the neck is the normal neck from the 6, just with 5 strings on it. I can only imagine what that feels like to play on. These guitars are fun. I love the colors and everything. I think this is Strandberg just kind of stretching their legs and doing something fun. And that is the last of the signature series guitars that are out currently. All right, So thank you to whoever made it this far. Thank you for watching. If you like my vibe and all that good stuff, hit like and subscribe. Helps my channel continue to grow, maybe even be frisky. Hit the bell. You know, hey, I don't know, let's see what happens. Here on my channel, I do guitar reviews, release my original music, and put out the occasional music lesson. So if you like the vibe and what's happening, yeah, hit like, subscribe. I would appreciate the support and all that kind of good stuff. I will see you in the next one. Woo!